Welcome to the Cash Converter Supercars E-Series. We're back again. It's night number 4. I've got my buddy Garth Tanner joining me, and we're about to dive right into Swift X qualifying. And Garth, the championship off the back of the oval racing last week, it's been blown wide open, particularly in the one that matters, the pros, for $10,000.
Yeah, we sort of expected that the oval race had the potential to turn the championship on its head, and boy, didn't it do that, Chad. Yep. So a lot of redemption coming out of the back of the Michigan race here at Phillip Island this weekend, and isn't it great to be back at Phillip Island? Albeit virtually, it's still a fantastic race circuit.
So we're back to our standard format tonight, which is what we ran on night number 1 at Winton. We're going to send the pros out there first. Remember, the pros are the gamers in this world, and they're going to get a chance to set the qualifying order in SwiftX qualifying right now. It's $200 worth of Bitcoin up for grabs for the pole winner. This is SwiftX qualifying, and then the All-Stars will take centre stage. We'll both go racing tonight. First up after 7:30 p.m, it's going to be the pros, and then the All-Stars will hit the track after that. They have 2 separate championships, and at the moment, the championship picture looks very interesting for the pros. We're all talking about it being Dane Warren versus Jared Philsell, and out of nowhere, Jake Burton just snuck up behind everybody and stole the championship lead. Here he is on screen right now. How cool is this? Brad Jones racing for the first time, are leading the championship.
Yeah, Jake Burton certainly been running inside the top 3 for the entire championship, hasn't he? And been pushing both Dane Warren and Jared Philsell. But that oval race where Jake ran so strongly and finished so well, and Philsell and Warren found themselves in trouble, and that was what we sort of expected on the oval, that one of the championship contenders could find themselves in trouble. The fact that 2 of the 3 real red-hot championship contenders found trouble certainly has opened the door for Jake Burton, and he's walked straight on through. So with only a couple of rounds to go, Jake's found himself in the right spot. He's fast. He's been in the top 3 in the championship the whole time, and really now it's up to the other 2 to come and take it back off him.
Yes, but the advantage at the moment isn't big enough that he can just wobble around in third and get it done. He will need to do slightly better. That's what I like about it, actually. He can't just finish in third every week to win the championship. He's going to have to play on one of these remaining 3 nights if he wants to be the champion. And he wants that $10,000. Absolutely he does. And Jared Philsell and Dane Warren are going to have to go flat out, and winning races is now a priority for them.
Yeah, well, it's the risk versus reward side of things now, isn't it? Whereas Burton's got the points in the bank, so his risk doesn't have to take as many risks, whereas Philsell and particularly Dane Warren probably have to take higher risk to get back in the championship game. So, you know, they've got speed, both Philsell and Warren, but I just feel like for Jake Burton, that championship lead, just give him that little bit extra that he's been leading. You know, he was very strong at Winton in the opening round of the championship, ran alternate strategy to the front runners and nearly stole the race win there. So, you know, he's got speed on his own. It's not just lady luck that's found him in the lead of the championship.
Here is Dane Warren. So now we're starting our fast laps tonight, and got some work to do in this championship now after leading the way after Winton, and what was a thrilling affair to start the championship off. We've had 3 different championship leaders from the opening 3 rounds. How cool is that? We've also got our virtual pit reporter, Jonathan Simon, keeping an eye on things as always from his Melbourne apartment. Jonathan, good evening to you, my friend, and looking forward to a big night. Traditional style, traditional format tonight.
Yep, good evening, and exactly right. We return to that format we had in round number 1. I like a close championship, and it's great to see Jake Burton challenge who we thought the favourites were, Jared Philsell and Dane Warren. Now, the funny part about it is Dane Warren sitting 5th in the championship. He might not even be in contention for this one, realistically. He's going to have a lot of bad luck go his way. And for Jake Burton, it's all about consistency, isn't it? He's never had a DNF since he's entered the E-Series in 2019. How about that? Just pure lap after lap, keeping the car out of trouble. By the way, the first lap times are coming in. It's always Corey Shepherd first out of the pits from Dane Warren. I don't know why that is. I'm going to chase that up. Maybe it's something to do with how quick their computer loads into qualifying.
That's one way to get pit order. Yeah. I might see if we can float that in the real world.
Yeah, don't worry about championship, teams championship. Just worry about who's got the fastest laptop.
The 888 will still find a way to have it. That's
well, all race teams being competitive as they are, they'll all become computer engineers and find a way to hot rod laptops.
Now, good to have wait a minute, that's not Todd Hazelwood. This is Ruben Goodall, which is...
It's a young Todd Hazelwood, isn't it?
Yeah, Todd Hazelwood's already young enough as it is. But this is young Todd Hazelwood. Ruben Goodall tonight driving for Matt Stone Racing, and we welcome him along. He actually races in the Toyota 86 field, so a couple of drivers in this field tonight. Also come over into the real world as well, which is pretty cool. So he and Job Stewart have both been doing some Toyota 86 racing, as well as the championship leader has raced in the 86s at this track before as well. So lots of real life experience, which is really cool to see. And nice to see a couple of cars to watch out for tonight in the truck assist colours. Does look weirdly like Todd Hazelwood though.
Maybe that's why he got the gig. They sort of maybe pass him off as Todd Hazelwood, that stone racer.
Maybe they just think it is him.
Maybe.
He just hasn't
Ruben's pulled a blinder there. yeah, I'm here. Todd's here. Todd's online.
I'm Todd Hazelwood.
Todd's online. Good to go.
In case you're wondering, it is actually written into the rules that you're not allowed to have somebody drive your sim for you.
No, that happened over overseas.
Yeah, actually cost someone a fairly high-profile gig actually as well. So it is actually a part of the rules. There's also other rules which you'd expect, like no drink driving, even though it's the virtual world that we're playing in tonight. You still have to be professional about how we go about things. There's also driving standards advisors, just like we would have in the real world, to sort out through the incidents and race control, just like we would have in the real world. And plenty of drivers with real world experience, like this guy on screen, in the cool drive colours. As he gets his car back out onto the famous front straight. And this team, they were electric last week.
They're great. Both the Cool Drive Mustangs ran at the front for the entirety of the main event, except for the last couple of laps where it went a bit crazy. But they probably worked together the best as a team to keep the cars at the front of the pack, where it was potentially the safest place to be. And it was to be at the front. So shame that neither Anderson or Brad Vaughan could get the race win. They certainly deserved it, because I thought as a team they drove really well last week.
It just dawned on me that Bradley Vaughan drives for Anderson Motorsport in the real world and has a different Anderson from a different family as a teammate in the virtual world, as we check out the action down at turn 4. So first laps through, and it's actually Brad Jones Racing sitting first and second, including Jackson Suzlin Harlow. Great to have him back after missing out last week with appendicitis. That's real appendicitis, not virtual. Jonathan, I'm seeing Brad Jones cars at the top at the moment.
Yeah, and Brad Jones' car's in the pits. I don't know why Jake Burton went straight into the pit lane, and that was on his outlap. So he just went straight and practiced the pit entry. So I'm not sure if there's something wrong with the setup or if he's just very comfortable with his 1 minute 28.748, which currently holds provisional pole. Dane Warren also entered the lane too. So this is a very interesting qualifying session. It's just all of a sudden turned on its head out of nowhere as the second lap times come in.
Okay, only thing I can think of, Garth, is maybe he didn't want to give a free kick to someone who was behind him on the front straight.
Maybe, but you just shouldn't you just escape out of the stop and escape. It's a more time-effective way of doing it. Or they're actually practicing pit entry, and the fact that both Burton and Dane Warren have done it says to me that there's something to be had, something to take advantage from.
That's one way to stop.
That's one way to stop in a hurry. I've seen lots of cars crash there over the journey in the real life, but not because they're trying to get another lap done in qualifying, as we see right now. They're leaving pit lane.
Brady Myers in the Pizza Hut car. Now you have to completely stop the car before you can press escape and exit out of the lap. So it's always frustrating when someone hits you and prolongs the stopping procedure.
Yeah, it takes a while.
This.
You're just about to escape out. Now I can escape out.
It's fine for Jackson Suzlin Harlow. He found the quickest way back to the pits and hitting the back of the 22.
The quickest way to stop is use something else.
Yeah.
So just under 2 minutes to go in this one. Championship leader, Jake Burton. So we thought maybe that the championship lead will give him a little bit of a kick along, and it's certainly doing that to this point. Just under a tenth of a second, or just half a tenth of a second now, over Andrew Gilliam in second place. Jackson Suzlin Harlow, another Brad Jones Racing car, third, and then Dane Warren, one of our championship contenders, our second place man in the championship, Jared Phillip, finds himself down in 7th. So he's got a bit of work to do on what looks like will be our final run here in qualifying.
Quick look over to Jonathan's stats. 3 times he's qualified on the front row, Jake Burton. It's always been on the outside of the front row. So maybe tonight's the first time for him. Andrew Gilliam, he was a former driver for Tickford. He made that move over last year to Matt Stone Racing. And what I love about that is he's not become a real-world driver, but actually a real-world engineer. So that's his background, wants to get into motorsport engineering, and had a chance to fill a role as a data engineer with that team. Actually was the engineer for Jason Gomersol in Super 3 at Townsville. So how cool is that? The connection between the virtual world and the real world, not just about being a race car driver, but all elements of the sport.
Big long queue forming up here to come to start the final push lap here. Qualifying, Chad, just under 30 seconds to go in this one.
Jake Maloney sporting the BP colours in the 98. We build up the momentum. Luke Rosella, one of the new drivers for the field this year. He had some pretty good speed last week on the oval. And we get started on some fast laps right at the end. Jake Burton on top at the moment. And look how close it is in your timing screen. 0.006 of a second. Dane Warren fight back. He's so good at doing the job when he needs to.
Yeah, very good under pressure is Warren. Putting out a lap right at the end. So this is very much like real life, where you've got to deliver right at the moment. You know this is the last lap. You know this is the last roll of the dice. And we're seeing lots of personal bests and session bests. Jordan Caruso, who's down in 8th, currently the fastest to the end of the first sector. So this is certainly not done over for Jake Burton. And it looks to me like Burton is not actually out there setting a time. So
yeah, back in the pits.
They have parked it, put the queue in the rack, if you like. They will not be able to respond if anyone improves. Warren now fastest to the end of the second sector.
There is your pole man to be, potentially. But there is some purple on the timing screen, including Walkinshaw Andretti United. The Mobil 1 Optus colours, just like Chaz Mostert would run. 8 times he's been a pole sitter. Checkered flag is in the air at the island. Can Dane Warren break Jake Burton's heart right at the end of the session? Computer says no. He sits 4th. Jordan Caruso goes up to 6th. Jared Philsell in that championship fight importantly gets to 5th. He could start to just about taste it. A wry smile.
No,
right at the end his teammate gets him.
Teammates bumped him.
He's just seen it. Oh, you're kidding me. And again, he'll start outside row number 1.
Madison
right at the end.
Down, comes from the clouds. There he is.
Well, they got a chance to work together tonight, potentially, because they've got 3 Brad Jones racing cars in the front 2 rows. Great job from BJR.
A bit of banter going on in the background there.
You get the feeling the Discord is lit up.
Yeah.
Sorry about that one, old buddy.
Madison Down, our race winner last time out. He was speechless when he got that race win. So what's he going to be like tonight after taking pole at Phillip Island?
Second career pole. And would you believe it, the last time, 2019 at the island.
Bit of a specialist. I think we've got a Phillip Island specialist amongst us, Chad.
Very first qualifying session we ever had in the E-Series that took the pole. And that was a long time ago, back in 2019. He went on to win that race. The big difference there was that was a live show and we had everybody together for that one. And that was a nice job. So well done to Madison Down. Jake Burton finishes this one in 2nd. Andrew Gilliam 3rd. Jackson Suzlin Harlow 4th. Dane Warren 5th. That's important. Jared Philsell 6th. So the championship leaders, Garth, will be coming off the 3rd row together. And that is going to be exciting.
Certainly will.
We check out our SwiftX Pole Award. And let's give it to this guy, Madison Down in the Cub Cadet colours. 29 thousandths of a second from Jake Burton. Andrew Gilliam right there with them as well. Jake Burton sitting out those last few laps. He only did the 1 qualifier. And right at the end, he was thinking maybe. And he saw his teammate just take it off him. And stop the clock with a nice lap time of 1:28.748. Gets the job done. Brad Jones Racing with 3 cars inside the top 4. So that is your pro qualifying done advantage. Brad Jones Racing will turn our attention to the All-Stars. And remember, we've got some fast guys still to come, including Brody Kostecki, your championship leader for Boost Mobile Erebus. Stick with us, SwiftX qualifying. We're going to send the All-Stars out to the island after this.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Bosch Professional Tools, backed by a 6-year guarantee.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Ah, looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Bosch Professional Tools, backed by a 6-year guarantee.
Qualifying time at the island. The All-Stars have rolled on out. Don't worry, there's no DRS tonight. You don't have to just ignore
got my
that.
attention when we were earlier, Chad. We got DRS this week.
Hang on a minute. What is the DRS button in a supercar anyway? I know that is more like it. This is Phillip Island, famous, beautiful old circuit, and a lot of history around this place, whether it be 2 wheels or 4. If you ever get the chance to see a motorbike run around this place as well, it is breathtaking.
Stand at the inside of turn 1 when a motorbike goes past.
Yeah.
It is seriously fast.
Gets your attention. It's also a heap of fun in iRacing, one of the few Aussie tracks that we have. Cool to see this guy back, Andre Heimgartner. We missed him last week.
He had a reasonable excuse though, Chad,
Yep.
to miss last week. Had a small incident the weekend prior.
That he did. And you'll be seeing a bit more of that actually on the Supercars YouTube channel this week. I got the chance to catch up with him and Tom Randall at the end of last week to see how both those boys are feeling. The answer is better.
Better than they were Sunday.
Absolutely. So good to see them back, and they'll be racing at Sandown, of course, when we get back into it for the Penrite Oil Sandown Super Sprint. That's coming away very, very soon. But it's the E-Series tonight. And this guy, well, they can't quite get near him at the moment, apart from, weirdly, the ovals, which is the night that he should have smashed everybody. And he's done an okay job here. Brady Kostecki goes straight to the top, and it's a 127.3. Is that surely the track conditions are better than they were in that last session?
They got these guys on super softs.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh.
That time from Brody Kostecki, and Andre Heimgartner follows it up with a 27.5.
That's a good lap from Andre. That's a really good lap. Ruben Goodall, we're just talking about him joining the fun tonight. He's hopped inside the top 3 for now with a 27.7. That'd be cool for him if he can run at the front and make a bit of a name for himself tonight. Here comes Matt Charter. Cool to have him joining the fun. He's had a couple of appearances in the All-Stars. First saw him in 2020 and getting some laps in before he's a wild card for real at Bathurst. And he'll also be on the grid at Sandown next week, driving in Dunlop Series action. Cool to have him in the SwiftX colours, replacing Jordan Cox, who did a good job last week, winning one of our sprint races at Charlotte. So welcome to Matty. And let's get used to seeing him in a Holden. But that's going to be what he's driving for real when he rocks up to the mountain this year.
Spent a bit of time in both manufacturers in the Dunlop Series.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much started, I think, in Commodores and then switched to Falcon, which he currently runs. But as you said, Chad, will switch back to the Commodore for his wildcard appearance at Mount Panorama Bathurst in October. Family run organisation will run that car as well.
Here comes the luckless Clay Richards. He's not having much fun with it at the moment.
The only luck he's had so far has been bad luck.
Yeah.
In the E-Series so far.
Ever driven a green race car, Garth?
No.
Would you do it?
No.
Yeah, superstitious?
That's
enough?
Enough. Superstitious enough.
Clay's also racing inside a bath, inside a kitchen tonight, apparently, which is an unusual look. There he goes. And strategically placed Shannon signage, letting you know that you can win a...
That's to hide the sink, because he hasn't cleaned the dishes.
Done the dishes.
He hasn't done the dishes.
You can win the Mustang and the beautiful Indian motorcycle as well. Just need to go and get yourself a quote from Shannon. It's very simple. You're hearing more about that across the course of the Supercars weekend. Car, bike, or home insurance, doesn't matter. We'll be doing just that. Hopefully he's got a pretty good comprehensive insurance package on his virtual race car.
I reckon he's used up his premium.
He got belted up last
week. The drama that Clay's been involved in last couple of weeks.
He was in absolutely everything last week, and it was just following him around, the drama. So we'd love to see him have a good week. He was in his Formula Ford racing at Sydney Motorsport Park on the weekend, which is pretty cool. Here comes the Penrite colours of T-Max, Thomas Maxwell. Speaking of the Penrite boys, Lee Holdsworth's going to bring up 500 races in the next start of the championship. Not a huge club of drivers have got to that level. The guy alongside me knows what that's like. There is Brad Vaughan. And he will be still hopeful of getting his first Supercars race. He's done a very nice job there, actually. He's got inside the top 3 spots. They were quick last week. As T-Max works his way through the hay shed. Started life up in Darwin, had a brief stint of time in Europe, trying to break into the open wheel market, and he made his way back to Australia, race Carrera Cup, now racing Super 2. That's with Matt White Motorsport. Works full-time with Dale Wood.
That would be a challenge.
Yeah,
that would be a real challenge.
That would be full-time.
All day, every day with Dale Wood.
He's a sign writer by trade, knows how to wrap a car. He's a really lovely young kid, is T-Max. So Brady Kostecki's on top still. He's actually improved that time.
27-1,
27-125. That's a go-fetch number right there, as the Pizza Hut car of Cameron Crick is doing a bit of a drift show. Is that Shane Van Gisbergen driving the car tonight?
Do that at the end, Cam. You don't do that in the qualifying session.
Celebrating the pole. He hasn't won yet. Jake Kostecki in the tradie colours.
He was strong last week on the oval at Michigan.
Yeah, he just casually rocked up with a decent spotter and Shane Van Gisbergen to help out. That's classic Shane Van Gisbergen. Just unannounced, roll in. Got a spotter tonight? Nah, all right, I'll help out. Just loves to be involved, loves winning. And that's exactly what they did last week with a win in the sprint race, with an awesome move for the win as well. Brought that one off late. Can he continue that sort of form tonight? Unconfirmed who his spotter is at this stage. Jonathan, any idea who's spotting for Jake Kostecki tonight? There's a challenge for you.
I'll go and find out. That's my challenge right now. Exactly. I hope it's Gizzy. Gizzy did a great job at the ovals last week for Jake Kostecki. Jake Kostecki's been driving very well. How this works in the E-Series, you might see different drivers come in, like Ruben Goodall, for example. The point system, it's based on the car, so it's not based on driver. So for that 34, Jack LeBrock used to step into that car. You had Ruben Goodall, Blake Purdy, I think he even drove that. They all compete together for points, so it's like a team effort. And so that's how that works if you'll look at the point system later on tonight.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. So sort of a bit NASCAR style, owner points.
Yeah.
Get out there and get those points for the owner. It'd get messy if they won the championship.
Yeah, it's true, it would. But I think that makes sense for the All-Stars, given their various other commitments they have that might not be available every week. So I think that it's a good compromise.
Andre Heimgartner just letting Aaron Borg know that he is on a lap. Teammates working together.
On a lap. He was in between the start line and turn 1. But it was going to be a good lap.
Yeah. The fish was this big. Here he goes right now, down through turn 2, the southern loop. As you'd imagine, just with everything in iRacing, it's been laser scanned. So every tiny rise and fall of this amazing venue has been scanned to perfection. Down at turn 4.
A couple of teammates here, though. Both Brad Jones racing cars, and Borg gets out of the way, so you would have thought there was a little bit of communication take place there.
They actually used Tony Woodward as well, which is the real-world engineer for Andre Heimgartner.
Heimgartner's on a personal best first sector here, so...
Can he close the gap? He needs 3 and a bit tenths It's a fair old margin to find.
Good chunk of time. This is his last lap, just under 10 seconds to go in this session, so Kostecki still leads. Near on 4/10 over this man, and Andre Heimgartner makes his return to the series. Oh, no, he's given up on that one.
That's gone. That was like an auction. It was going, and gone. Well done, Andre. He was pushing, yet nothing to lose at that point.
Nothing to lose. I think the middle sector wasn't that strong.
Yep.
So Maxwell are pretty wide down at MG corner. Easy to do down there, overrun the apex, downhill braking zone.
No yellow flags to worry about, so the spin from Andre Heimgartner not going to potentially ruin his qualifying lap if you're a fan of F1 and used to seeing that sort of stuff. How far can the Territorian climb in car 26? Can we see him up towards the front anywhere? He's jumped up to 11th. Not a bad effort. But it's Brodie Kostecki and Ruben Goodall on the front row. Hello.
Lap.
Out of nowhere. Just manages to nudge Andre Heimgartner off the front row. I feel like that setup has been different every single week.
I think he's in a different state every week.
It probably is, actually, for Brodie Kostecki. And there's Ruben. Kid's a bit of a gun.
Nice job.
Well done, mate. We'll see how he goes for real when we send him out there in traffic with Andre Heimgartner and Brodie Kostecki next to him. That's going to get his attention. But he's done a pretty cool job there. And the Toyota 86 driver, who's still in high school, it is a school night for him, so hopefully this race
get this race done early.
He's got Mum banging on the door. You doing your homework in there?
Yes, Mum.
Yeah, Mum. I'm just racing Brodie Kostecki. Hang on, I'll be off in a sec. Brodie is doing the job. That's his third pole of the year, and he'll be picking up another SwiftX pole award here. Nicely done to throw into the collection with all the ones that he picked up last year. Brodie Kostecki is looking the goods, and this lap was nice. 127.1. Track seemed to be way faster in that session than it was. It's like track evolution almost.
Massive track evolution. That
we saw earlier. That's the Boost Mobile colours again, who are going to be starting on the pole today. Championship leader looking to just about get this thing wrapped up in time before we get into the next round of the championship, which is going to be coming up soon at Bathurst. And big shout out to the team at Erebus, because they're also going to be having their fan open day this week, which includes Greg Murphy and Richie Stanaway. All right, there we go, Garth. We've set the grids. Very competitive in the pros. Advantage Brad Jones Racing for that one.
Yeah, great job by the Brad Jones Racing crew. They were seriously strong all session in their pro session, weren't they? But, wow, Brodie Kostecki, he just turned up, did one lap. That first lap they did in qualifying would have been good enough to keep the pole, and then he went in and improved on that down to a 27.1. So, seriously impressive. He continues his strong form that we've seen all championship. But really looking forward to a couple of races coming up, Chad. 2 15-lappers. It's going to be interesting.
All right, Phillip Island is the location. The E-Series, that's what we're doing. iRacing is the platform, and we are getting set to go tonight. This is round number 4, Cash Converters Supercars E-Series, and it's time to switch it over from qualifying to race mode. Tonight, it's week number 4 for the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. And for something special, I'm going to make Garth guess where we're racing.
I love a good bit of trivia, Chad.
Yeah, a bit of Wednesday night trivia. All right, here's a little bit of a clue for you. It's a famous Phillip.
Prince Phillip.
No.
Phil Mickelson.
No.
Phil Collins.
Nope.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No. Okay, one more clue then. It begins in Phillip, ends in Ireland.
Winton.
You idiot. No. Famous race circuit on the edge of the ocean, famed for its high-speed corners and high-level racing action.
Phillip Island, raw beauty and a racetrack paradise for supercars.
This week in the E-Series, both the pros and the All-Stars go at it at the island.
Phillip Island Super Sprint is go.
Brodie Kostecki is the man to catch in the All-Stars, whilst it's Jake Burton who snaps the lead in the pros. Well, what a massive turn of events. How will this week play out? Let's find out. This is the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. Yep, get the virtual penguins and the virtual Cape Barren geese ready because we're running at the island, Garth. I can't believe you didn't know that's where you made your debut back in 1998. Welcome to the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series, and yep, Phillip Island is the track of choice.
Those openers are getting worse every week, Chad. Yeah, great to be back at Phillip Island, isn't it? It's a fantastic race circuit, and as you said, Chad, where I made my championship debut, but a circuit that we all love as drivers in the real world, and same in iRacing. It is one of the best, scanned to perfection. It's great fun to drive.
We've got Brad Jones Racing starting with a front row lockout coming their way a bit later tonight. Let's check out exactly how we're going to be running tonight's activities. SwiftX qualifying has taken place, and the pros will roll out their first 15 laps, compulsory pit stop, where they can come in and throw in some virtual Dunlop tyres, and the same will go for the All-Stars tonight, only that one has a BP Ultimate safety car period, which will bunch the field back up. BJR on top at the moment in the Pro Series, and Jake Burton getting that championship lead at Charlotte for the oval race last week. We weren't really expecting the BJR guys to come up towards the front of the field. It happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, we felt like the oval race at Michigan had the potential to turn the championship on its ear. And it certainly did that. Our championship leaders, Jared Philsell and Dane Warren, had shockers, and Jake Burton had an absolute blinder. So he scored a heap of points, and he's continued that form through qualifying, puts himself on the front row here at Phillip Island for this week. So he's in really good position right now to capitalise on his championship lead. Yeah,
and the good news is they're on the front row tonight, and they have miles on the board here at Phillip Island. That is the venue, fourth stop of the tour. Let's check out our Cash Converters course preview because it looks immaculate in real life, and they have scanned it to perfection in the Cash Converters Mustang. Let's go for a ride with Garth Tander around the island.
The run down to turn one, run it out nice and wide, sixth gear back to fifth on approach, about 205k an hour through turn one into turn two, back to third gear, southern loop. It's known as double apex. Let the car touch the curb, flow off, and then square up the exit here on the throttle nice and early. Grab fourth, pretty much right on the exit. And then up to fifth gear as you turn through turn three, or Stoner Corner as it's called now. Car always wants to drift out, but you've got to get it straight before this heavy braking zone. At turn four, back to second gear, slowest corner, one of the slowest corners on the circuit. The car never wants to get on the power nicely out of there. Up to third for Siberia. It's called Siberia because it is so cold over there, so close to the side of the ocean. And another one where drive traction's critical for the run up the hill, through the kink here, fourth gear, and then fifth gear to one of the real cool corners of Phillip Island. It's called the Hay Shed. It's right on the limit of being flat out. High risk, high reward there. And then up over Lukey Heights. Fourth gear, car gets nice and light. Again, wants to drift out to the middle of the circuit, but you've got to get it stopped nice and straight for a very sharp downhill braking zone. Into MG corner, second gear, short shift third on exit. Car never wants to change direction here at the second last corner, turn 11. And then the final corner, really fast. The car does not want to behave, does not want to turn in, and then when you put the power down, does not want to accept that either. But it's important to get on the gas for the run to the line. It still is one of the great circuits that we have here in Australia.
I get the feeling you like that place.
I love Phillip Island, mate. It is so cool.
Even in iRacing terms, it gets the hairs on the back of Garth's neck standing right up. It's such a cool place. Always fun to visit. Always fantastic to race at. All right, we've got Jonathan Simon standing by, our virtual pit reporter as always. Good evening to you, Jonathan. Have you got over the excitement from Charlotte last week?
No, I haven't. The ovals literally blew up our championship. I don't know who's going to win this one in the closing few rounds. So it's an exciting one tonight. This isn't going to be the decider. We still have an enduro next week. That's going to be very important too. But first up are the Shannon's Insurance race facts for round 4, race 4 for both our championships this evening. For most Supercars fans, you should be able to do this like it's on the back of your hand. 15 laps of action coming up. A relatively typical run through pit lane, 27.3 seconds for the transit time with a stop for tyres. And remember, the Eseries is open setup, so drivers can start on whatever fuel load they want. I actually expect most drivers might fuel about 15 litres short and take that in their pit stop, because that takes shorter time than it would to take the 4 tyres at your stop. 12 corners around the tricky beaches of Phillip Island, 4.5 kilometre circuit with plenty of hot spots out there. Honda at turn 4 notoriously invites massive accidents. Remember back in 2013, Alex Premer went whack into the side of James Courtney. That was a huge incident. Matter of fact, Garth Tander, our very own Garth Tander, ended up winning that race later on. Back to the 150-point system for each race. Compulsory pit stops return too. Remember that pit window. That's very important because tyre degradation is extremely high. I wish I could put 10 exclamation marks on the end of that one, because the undercut can be worth around 1 to 1.5 seconds per lap. Chad, those are your Shannon's Insurance race facts. Going to be a stellar race coming up. Tyre deg, very important talking point.
Yeah, tyre deg always a talking point, but it's fuel I want to ask you about at the moment, Jonathan, because do you think tonight they're going to have to take any fuel in those pit stops?
Well, you know what? I really hope they do, because there's a certain individual sitting on the desk next to you who didn't do that back a few years ago.
Here it is, Garth Tander with the win in his pocket. Checkered flag in the air, and let's give it... Whoa, hang on a minute, he's out of fuel.
I don't know why I was weaving around. That doesn't make any difference at all to the fuel tank. Maybe trying to scare Scotty a little bit. No, we did not put enough fuel in the car at the pit stop, Chad. And when I was leaving pit lane, they told me, you need to save fuel for the next 28 laps. I was like, oh, thanks very much for that, boys.
Helpful, guys. Very helpful.
Would have preferred if we ran out of fuel a lap earlier.
Yeah. Unfortunate, that one. Well, hopefully that's not going to be happening tonight to our virtual drivers, but Garth also did win the odd race there at Phillip Island. We don't show you those ones. We just show you the ones that we want to show you. All right, we need a break. We're not too far away from turning our attention to the pros. Brad Jones Racing, can they get the job done tonight at the Island? Our friends at Shannon's are giving motoring enthusiasts the chance to win the American Dream Team, a 1967 Ford Mustang Coupe in dark Highland green with a V8 engine, and the all-new 2022 Scout Rogue Indian motorcycle. The prize also includes up to 12 months Shannon's comprehensive car and bike insurance and Shannon's roadside assist, plus $5,000 cash if you're an eligible Shannon's Club member. That's up to $101,000 in prizes.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Cash Converters.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Good times, Pizza Hut.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Cash Converters.
The home of the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix, World Superbike. It's been a former track for the Supercars. It's hosted the 500 before. It's Phillip Island. It's one of the most famous tracks in the country. An awesome venue, and it's the host for round number 4 of the E-Series tonight, and it's the pros who are going to be rolling on out there, and this is how the championship picture looks right now. Jake Burton, out of nowhere, just grabs himself a 35-point lead. That's a handy lead as well. And Dane Warren, who is leading this championship, now with some serious work to do. Never mind being second, he's dropped all the way down to 5th. So Garth, he is the man to watch tonight, and qualifying didn't go his way either.
No, that's right. So, I mean, we expected Dane Warren, given his form in the E-Series over the years, he was going to be the man. But it's sort of not rolling his way so far, this championship. It started pretty strongly, but there was dramas at Sandown, dramas on the Oval at Michigan, and as you said, Chad, hasn't qualified as strong as we would have expected tonight. So it's definitely the Brad Jones Racing cars that starting to show a lot of form. They raced really well together on the Oval at Michigan last week, and they find themselves both on the front row tonight.
It's the first time they've had the championship lead since 2019 after round 1, when that guy right there won at Phillip Island. He's taken his second pole award of the series. And on your truck assist grid, he'll start alongside his teammate. The last one was 2019 at Phillip Island. Jake Burton, the 4th time that he's qualified second. Andrew Gilliam for truck assisters right there amongst the Brad Jones Racing cars. Jackson Suzlin Harlow returns after suffering appendicitis last week. Dane Warren and Jared Philsell, your championship combatants, coming out of row number 3. They are going to be lit up to move forward in this one. Wake Burke has done a really nice job locking out row number 4 with Jordan Caruso for Tickford. So good speed from those two tonight. Rick Kuznetsov with one of his best road circuit qualifiers of the year alongside Job Stewart. He's an Erebus junior driver inside the top 10. Corey Shepherd's got the Repco 100 numbers on his car tonight. He'll be alongside Jake Maloney in the BP Ultimate colours. Brady Myers is rocking the Pizza Hut colours in all red tonight alongside Josh Anderson, Aussie racing car star in the Cool Drive car. Cooper Webster, another guy who's actually won a race here for real in S5000. He'll be alongside Brenton Hobson for this one. Luke Rosella's coming out of 17. Emily Jones coming out of 18 in the Learn to DJ 51 Mustang. And Griffin Gardner, Penrite Racing, off the back of the field. That's your truck assist grid. 19 starters, 150 points up for grabs. Can Brad Jones Racing convert this one? Can they work together? The fast guys out of row 3. The recipe for this one is right where we like it. Should be a spicy affair at the island. And we are off and running. Good start from the 2 Brad Jones Racing guys in the front row, but Andrew Gilliam in the truck assist car cares not for the championship, and he fights right in there with him with a huge run down to the inside at turn 1. Jake Burton will be nervous and holding his breath on the outside through here, and he slots back in behind his teammate. And wow, Suzlin Harlow's dropped back to about 6th or 7th, and both Dane Warren and Jared Philsell have moved up.
Yeah, not a great start at all for Suzlin Harlow. You can see right from the launch he bogged the car down. And Philsell particularly got a great launch in the Boost Erebus Commodore. And he now finds himself putting pressure on Gilliam as they run down to Honda corner. Philsell tries the old trick, go right around the outside. Gilliam's awake to that. He'll show him where the exit curb is nicely, if you don't mind. But both the Brad Jones Racing cars got a great launch. Gilliam had that sneaky look up the inside, but that was never going to happen. And Dane Warren also has launched nicely. So first box ticked for our championship contenders coming from deeper in the field. Get through the first half of the first lap cleanly. Make up a spot or 2 if you can.
How cool does that look? Through the hay shed. Madison Down and Jake Burton. Brad Jones Racing go 1-2 at the front of the field. This is the strongest form we've seen from Madison Down since last week when he won. But apart from that, for real, when it was 2019 in the E-Series when he won this round, That win last week was a little bit different. He did upload off. Wow. Lap 1 pit stop, aggressive from Dane Warren. No one saw it coming this early. The window's meant to be around lap 4. Uber aggressive strategy.
So no actual pit window. That's just what we predicted. It was going to be around lap 4 to come and get tyres, because Jonathan Simon mentioned in his race preview the tyre degradation is huge here at Phillip Island. So Warren feeling like he needs to get himself out of the pack. Here we go, Phil Sell gets up the inside. Does he get the job done on Gilliam? Yes, he does. Just a bit of rubbing on exit. So whilst one of our championship contenders went to pit lane, the other one's going forward. He finds himself in third right now, blocking hard down into Honda. Gilliam hangs in there, does a nice job. Now here comes Suzlin Harlow.
The Brad Jones racing cars are making life hard for Boost Mobile Erebus, but he'll have the inside sit at Siberia. This is awesome stuff. Phil Sell having to work for it right now.
So this is actually playing into Dane Warren's strategy. So if you just go Phil Sell versus Warren, and those two strategies, Warren right now has taken himself out of all this. Got out of the pack. Whoa, Suzlin Harlow exit stage left.
He's heading out to where Craig Lowndes went hard into the fence back in the 90s.
So we don't see him there.
That was the last we saw of Jackson Suzlin Harlow tonight.
Race control will probably have a look at that one if Chad, just quietly.
Oh boy.
So a bit going on for our championship contenders. One straight to the lane with super aggressive strategy. The other one battling hard in the top 5.
And yeah, that is a big championship talking point, and it's a Cash Converters instant cash moment running up towards the hay shed. And does he go all the way to the fence?
I know that feeling. It's not fun.
He does a really good job.
I wouldn't mind betting there was a bit of handbrake involved with that, Chad. The way it changed direction in the gravel trap there.
The other guy's looking pretty good here is Wayne Burke in the Tickford colours tonight, driving the Tom Randall BP Ultimate Castrol car, number 55. It's about as high as we've seen him running so far this year. So putting the pressure on the back of the Erebus guys. Brad Jones Racing doing exactly what they want to see right now, with their two guys leading the way. Perfect time to take ashore sounds of the game. You want to see iRacing and hear iRacing. Here is your chance to enjoy it alongside the shoulder of Wayne Burke. Sure sounds of the game. You love that as Phil Sellers sideways coming onto the front. Straight the attitude as it puts the right rear out into the dirt. Flicks up a little bit of stone and grass at the exit. That was cool stuff. And Wayne Burke is putting the pressure on. I wonder if he's feeling any damage from that little knock that he took. Surely he'd be taking an early pit stop if that was the case for Jared Philsell. And what are you seeing, Jonathan, in terms of how far out Dane Warren's got here on that early pit stop?
Yeah, that all eyes are on that at the moment, and whether that is going to work. So we're still waiting for the first representative time from Dane Warren. He's crossed the line now, and he's just set. It says a 1 minute 29.3, so that's quicker than your leaders, Madison Down and Jake Burton. But Chad, can he make it to the checkered flag? He's going to be so slow at the end of this race. That was just such a risky pit stop. Obviously, he's going full on, going for this championship. Just a couple quick things from the opening lap. That Phil Sell incident with Jackson Suzlin Harlow, that is not under investigation. They believe that that was what they call netcode in the sim racing universe. And that's why Jared Phil Sell will escape a penalty. How about that? Critical for the championship.
Whoa. I'd love to be able to walk into Craig Baird's office, the Repco Supercars Championship DSO, and say, sorry, Craig, it was netcode. Didn't mean to unload Chad like that at turn 1 at Phillip Island. My computer had a glitch.
ECU.
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, good luck with that one in the real world.
Yeah, I don't think I'll bother trying that one.
We had a famous one in the All-Star E-Series back in 2020 with Max Verstappen at Barcelona. I'm not trying to name drop or anything. We've got some more pit stops happening. But it's Corey Shepherd. He's going to get a decent undercut here after a good 4 laps of racing. Dane Warren's not going to get much of an undercut with a lap 1 pit stop. What he will get is clean air.
Yeah,
well,
that's probably it was the clean air that he went for, and as Jonathan mentioned, it's a 29.3 for the first representative lap. But on that same lap, Phil Sell was a 29.8, so half a second. The tyre deg that Warren will experience in the late part of this race will be certainly offset by whatever he gets track position-wise here. So it's a game of snakes and ladders right now, Chad. You know, he's making his way back up the ladder, but how far back will he slither once the tyre goes away at the end of this one? So definitely the Boost Mobile Erebus team will be keeping an eye on when they will pit Jared Filsell, as the same will be happening at Tickford for Wayne Burke, Jordan Caruso. But the Brad Jones Racing crew, they always run that alternate strategy, don't they? They've got track position for it. I mean, they got track position in the natural way, just get to the front, and now they're working together and they've got really good speed. So it wouldn't surprise me, and this is purely commentator speculation and curse, no doubt, that the Brad Jones Racing cars will go long here.
Okay.
And certainly offset what Dane Warren's done.
Would you maybe give pit precedence or the pit strategy nod here to Jake Burton as well? To just bring him in a lap earlier maybe than Madison down?
Oh, maybe. Maybe. I don't think in iRacing it makes much difference as far as when you pit. Relative as far as track position goes for, you know,
but you wouldn't maybe give him a chance to undercut his teammate?
Pit lane congestion. Yeah, maybe. But
yeah,
they could, if they really wanted to do, if they really wanted to just change positions, they could just do it on track. So I think get through the pit stop cycle and then worry about it afterwards. See where everyone flushes out in the pit stop cycle and then start worrying about that stuff.
Okay, Jonathan, looking forward to exactly when those Brad Jones Racing cars blink.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, guys, with the championship. But remember, Madison Down's 57 points behind, so he might say, hey, why do I need to let my teammate pass, as there's a move here with the Monster Energy Mustang by Caruso. But why should Madison Down let Jake Burton take this race victory if Madison Down can win the championship? So it's a terrific argument to have, and Jake Burton will be egging on his teammate at the moment and putting as much pressure as he can for first position.
Yeah, well, there's prize money.
I was going to say, it's a $10,000 argument, yeah. Jonathan, so I'd be having it too.
He's got 10,000 reasons to not hand him the race win tonight. That'd be points that Jake Burton would desperately like to get his hands on. They've got a 1 second gap back to Andrew Gilliam. And importantly, the gap back to Dane Warren sits at 29.3. Now, Jonathan's numbers are 27.3 for the pit stop procedure and stopping for tyres. It's a bit of a random number for how long that tyre stop can take. Brady Myers ducks off stage left into the very fast pit entrance. He was sitting inside the top 10 spots. This time by the leaders, 130.4, so we have already dropped a second in lap time with that tyre degradation.
Yeah, I was just looking at Dane Warren's last lap time, and that was a 130.1. So even Warren's tyres now starting to go away from him after that early pit stop. So that's, for me, a pretty good indicator for Brad Jones Racing. If they can maintain that sort of pace and be that close to the pace of Dane Warren, who's already had his pit stop for tyre, then I'd be extending this first stint. Just extend, because it just gives you much better tyre condition at the end of the race. And even if Warren does get you on track position through the pit stop cycle, your tyre condition's going to be so much stronger that you just sail straight back on by, and there won't be anything he can do about it.
Would they be more worried from the undercut coming behind them, maybe?
Yeah, I think that when you start seeing Gilliam, Phil Sell, Caruso and Burke, when they start coming to the lane, that's when you have to react, because those cars are not far behind you. They will easily undercut you. And now we're running lap 7 of 15, so getting close to half distance.
The tyre life has dropped off a full second.
Yeah, the tyre life does get away from you, so that's where the undercut can come from. From Gilliam in third, Phil Sell in fourth, Caruso fifth, Burke in sixth. They're the real threats, I think, for the race win.
So expect pit stop soon, and it is an aggressive move from the leaders. They do pit together. Gilliam comes with him. No chance of an undercut there.
Phil Sell stays out, Burke stays out. So those cars looking to overcut. And you won't overcut on pace, but you'll definitely do it with tyre delta, the difference in the laps that your tyres have done.
Now, just watch the drop here. Could Burton potentially get out ahead of Madison Down? And also watch, of course, for the Walkinshaw Andretti United driver, they drop almost the exact same time. And the rejoin will be very, very close. He's definitely passed Matt Stone Racing, Dane Warren. Looks to be
Brad
third
Jones
for now.
Racing have done a great job there, haven't they? They pitted at the exact right time to not give up any track position at all over Warren. So they felt like track position was still important to keep the track position. But they've got a 7-lap tyre delta over Warren. And Dane Warren's last lap time 30.4, and that was in pretty much clear air. And we saw that the Brad Jones Racing cars, just before they pitted, they were doing those 30.3, 30.4s. So you'd expect that they'll be able to ease that gap out just a little now.
Well, this should play nicely for Jared Philsell when he comes back in. We know that he'll be about a second behind where Andrew Gilliam was, and then it'll be from that point onwards an out-and-out race. And look how far. Was it Josh Anderson's jumped up a few spots? No, it's Corey Shepherd who's jumped up a ton of spots with the undercut.
Yeah, he was one of the early stoppers as well, wasn't he? So he's up to 10th.
Bought himself some spots as Philsell pits. Philsell, Webster, Anderson all in the lane. Leaves Wayne Burke to lead some laps tonight. That's pretty cool as Gilliam gets to the inside of Shepherd and with those fresher tyres gets the move done down at MG. So watch for the rejoin here with Philsell. He's tucked in behind the pit buildings in pit lane. It's a very narrow pit lane. You do need to find your pit bay in iRacing and hit your marks. The game will do the rest from there. And he's going to drop out behind these cars. There he is with the fresher tyres. Oh, right in a little battle pack too with Brady Myers.
Lost a lot of track position there as Philsell though. So check with Jonathan how that pit stop went. We did see that he potentially had a little bit of damage on that car as well. So whether that held the pit stop a little bit.
Yeah. Second slowest on my times.
Yeah. So he finds himself back in 11th.
Andrew Gilliam the slowest in the lane.
So don't forget it was those two cars that were making contact with each other early in this one. Philsell and Gilliam. So whether as they were in the lane, it took a little bit longer to repair those cars.
Nice move. Jordan Caruso gets down the inside of Corey Shepherd, who's struggling a little bit on those older tyres.
Expect Gilliam. There you see, look at the grip that Gilliam's got just up the road on Dane Warren. Doesn't get it done out of Siberia. Caruso will be along to the party shortly.
This could end up working out potentially worse than where it was looked at the beginning of the race for Dane Warren. Dropping back, he was, what, 5th, I think? When he pitted.
Yeah, he was 5th, that's correct.
This might not work out, this aggressive strategy, as Webster goes to the inside.
Nice job by Webster. You always worry when you send it down the inside at MG that the car's going to stop before someone swoops across the front of you and you end up T-boning him. But Webster, don't forget, on a fresh tyre, just pitted, so had plenty of confidence.
Wayne Burke and Emily Jones down pit road, this time by. It was Rick Kuznetsov. And the Shaw colours, love the look of that car. That'd make a beautiful real-life race car, that one. Oh, and the rejoin from Burke. That's aggressive.
Don't mind. Still going.
This is tight. He's cold tyres and Kuznetsov is off the road. It'll be really hard to pull up. Oh, he hit the invisible gap. I had him for all money running through the back of the SwiftX car. He just got the back of it because Job Stewart slid off the road. He must have got the lightest of touches, but that could have been huge.
That was very nearly a small plane accident, Chad. The speed that car was going when it came back on the track.
Haven't had many big moments apart from the oval racing like that in the pros this year, and he's still vulnerable to Suzlin Harlow's down the inside as he tries to find his feet. That was wild stuff. It was Primer and Courtney, but a couple of corners earlier.
Yeah, much faster version. Suzlin Harlow still trying to recover from that net code incident up at Lukey Heights. Catch a cash converters instant cash moment replay.
Oh, this is Gilliam getting the job done on Dane Warren.
Oh, there's no room there. Got the can opener out and opened up that hole nicely.
Made himself a gap. Aggressive move. Andrew Gilliam in the truck is his car, and this was the one through turn 1.
See if we see on.
It was really tight. Just have a look at this.
That is the definition of threading the needle.
Oh, here we go. Awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of this he knew. Oh, man, that's tight. Just got the back of Job Stewart's car enough to unsettle the young South Aussie. Good save. Pretty good stuff. Jake Maloney, last guy to come down pit lane at the moment. He leads the race, Jonathan.
How about that for an incident as well? About, what was it, 150 to 200 kilometres an hour through the grass as well, mowing the lawn. And thankfully, it was nothing but a bit of a scathe there. Wayne Burke was given a penalty for knocking Rick Kuznetsov off the road. That was at turn 1. So drive-through penalty for Burke. By the way, race battle for the win. I think I just saw a car straight off at Honda, by the way. Went straight into the braking zone. But quick update on the lead battle. Madison Down. This will be his 3rd race win at Phillip Island. But will he give it to Burden? That's the question. I don't think he will.
Right, and how about these two? Championship leaders after rounds 1 and 2, swapping spots at Siberia. Yeah, that was Corey Shepherd getting sent back to the turn 4 pit entrance by, I think it was Brady Myers who got him down there at turn 4. So race control might be having a little look at that one. I hope for Brady's case it was another netcode incident as Wayne Burke goes to the inside of him in the Castrol colours. That Pete Hut car was an early pit stop, so picked up some ground from that, but paying the price now. It's been an entertaining race, this one. Inside 6 laps to go. This is the incident down at turn 6. Pizza Hut versus Repco.
Consider your pizza delivered.
Absolutely.
Corey Shepherd.
He's doing a MotoGP long lap down there. He's fighting his way back through the pack. This is cool. Side by side. Just pulls in behind Griffin Gardner. Down the Gardner straight. And they're in behind Job Stewart. These guys have been a little bit busy in this 4th race of the season so far. Cool opportunity for a lot of these drivers to represent some real-world brands. For Corey Shepherd to have a partnership with a company as big as Repco in their 100th year, that's a pretty cool thing. He's enjoying his time in the E-Series. That Swift-X car running aggressively down at turn 4. Gardner's got it all locked up. They're all going to trip over each other down here. Suzlin Harlow just goes by all of them.
Thank you very much.
Well played.
Suzlin Harlow continues his recovery drive. Joe Stewart still catching his breath after seeing the Shaw Commodore flying through his rear vision mirror at turn 2.
It's would have got a flash of
just
black and
green at speed going through your rear vision mirror.
You can turn your side mirrors on and off in iRacing as well, depending on how much memory you want to be using up. But you do have the internal mirror, inside mirror that is always working. As we check out the replay of what happened down here at turn 4. Cash Converters replay. He put the squeeze on, didn't he, Job Stewart?
He did, but Gardner had the rear brakes locked hard. You see that so often down at turn 4.
Corey Shepherd. And we've been loving watching the foot cam inside Corey's car, bit of heel toe. Back to the leaders. No change at the front of the field. Madison Down doing the job nicely. And their lap times so similar. 4 thousandths that time by.
4 thousandths.
Wow.
It did look like to me, though, Jake Burton had a little bit better tyre consistency in that first stint prior to the pit stop. So whether Burton has just held back a little bit here. And we made the point, would Madison Down move out of the way for Jake Burton, the championship leader, to help him extend the championship? Well, it's looking like that's a hard no right now.
Yeah.
It's actually quite interesting watching these guys, how smooth all the inputs are when they drive the sim. Just look at the steering input, nice and smooth, nothing jerky. Same with throttle input, pick up.
Where did he say you restarted last week, Madison Down? Was it 33rd
it was
or
33rd?
23rd?
No, I think he said he passed 30 cars in 8 laps.
Incredible. He actually uploaded the last 10 laps of that race on his Twitter account. You can go and check that out. Pretty cool to watch him just round up the entire field in 10 laps to win at Charlotte. Avoided all the chaos. And 2 to go for Brad Jones Racing. A 1-2, wouldn't that be nice tonight?
In strong form right now, Brad Jones Racing. Jordan Caruso currently in 4th place. He's had a pretty quiet race, but done a good job. Kept himself inside the top 5 or 6 for the entirety of this one.
He's been running in the National Sports Sedans Championship, leading that championship. We asked him last week in the show, would you rather win the Real World Championship or the E-Series? Even though it's not particularly a real motor racing championship on a real world track, he went, well, one of them pays 10 grand. So I'll take the one that pays 10,000.
Spoken like a real race car driver. Bit going on at the front here, Chad. Burton's closed that gap down. So with 1.5 to go, this is far from a done deal.
What's risk versus reward here for Jake Burton? Championship looking pretty good. Jared Philsell sitting 5th. Dane Warren sitting 6th. He's going to unexpectedly extend that championship lead tonight. That was not something that we were thinking we'd be seeing or saying.
No, but you're right that you use the term risk versus reward here. There's not a lot of reward. I mean, yes, it's nice winning races, but there's not a lot of reward hanging it all on the line here to go for the win when your two main championship contenders find themselves in 5th and 6th, as you said. But in saying that, Madison Down is fast becoming a championship contender. If he wins again in this one, it's a 57-point gap from Burton back to Madison Down. That gap closes. So if an opportunity presents itself, take it.
There's also a bit going on in the background as well with Phillip, Warren and Caruso. So last lap, and there's still some spots to sort out. As Phillip, who has the best tyres in that pack, tries to make up the lost time. Last time by through turns 3 and 4. Gilliam looks about safe, but it's Caruso who's under pressure.
Phillip
Done a lot of passing on the outside tonight, Phillip, not with a lot of luck going his way.
Trying the over and under trick, can't get it done. Caruso's awake to that one. Covers off nicely up the inside into Siberia.
Oh, and Dane Warren's getting picked on as well in the background. Pippa Webster breezing by the Walkinshaw and Andretti United driver. It's all started to fall apart for Dane Warren, who led after round 1. Plenty of fights going on in this last lap.
Madison Down, all he needs to do is just run it down the middle if he feels required, but Burton's not even going to have a look. Now get it turned, get back to the gas nicely here. There's not really too much more of an opportunity that Jake Burton has to get the job done on Madison Down. He's driven really well from pole, nailed the start, nailed the pit stop cycle, nailed the final stint, will nail the run to the checkered flag.
Brad Jones Racing take a bow at the island, 1-2. Nice job, Madison Down wins from his teammate Jake Burton. And importantly, look in the background here as Dane Warren fights for every spot he can get, and he just hangs on to 6th place from Cooper Webster, who was pouring the pressure on. Phillip 5th, Warren 6th. Good race, that one. Strategy was quite interesting. And Madison Down gets the job done. Well done to Brad Jones Racing. But importantly, the man who finishes 2nd extends that championship lead. Here's that last corner once again. Oh no.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, what a save. That was nearly championship done right there, if that was in the fence.
That's massive from Phillip. He hangs on. He was looking for the big run to the line. He still crosses the line in 5th behind Jordan Caruso. But the man on screen, Madison Down, that's 2 from 2 from him.
Yeah.
He's in the game.
Where has that come from? All of a sudden, he's a 2-time winner this season. Has more wins than anyone in the championship so far. And it's looking pretty good for this guy who's just collecting the points and doing a very good job indeed at a track where he's raced in the Toyota 86 World before. He has picked up 2nd place tonight. That win would have been nice for Jake Burton, just got away from him. But Brad Jones Racing with a nice 1-2. Andrew Gilliam also. Good job from Andrew getting inside the top 3. Bosch race highlights. Unfortunately for Jackson Suzlin-Harlow, he was a bit slow away from that 2nd row. Phillip made a bit of a blinder. Gilliam a nice start for Matt Stone Racing. Looked for the lead down at turn 1, but had to settle back for 3rd in what was a pretty frantic opening lap.
It certainly was. Phillip started making his way forward, and then this battle with Gilliam, it was so tight, that run through turn 3, and Gilliam kept his nose in there and did a nice job to get it up the inside at Honda. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow was looking to recover from that tardy start off the line, and he would battle hard with Jared Phillip. He right here, the run up to Lukey Heights, and Suzlin-Harlow found himself out wide in the gravel, and that was pretty much the end of the race for him. The Brad Jones Racing cars pitted in tandem, and that's how they ran for the entirety of that one. Dane Warren was on the alternate strategy, and he got to the tail of them, but could not do anything with the tyre condition going away for him.
Yeah, and with that early pit stop for Warren, it left him quite vulnerable to the field. Nice move for 3rd, the truck assist car. Andrew Gilliam getting down the inside and putting Dane Warren back a spot. He would end up trickling all the way back down to 6th. And how about this for a wild moment? Rick Kuznetsov getting pushed off the road by Wayne Burke at turn 1. Watch for the re-entry at turn 2.
Here we go, on live, on board with this one. And this is right about here, you hold your breath.
Oh, just clipping the back of Job Stewart, and unfortunately Swiftex car off the road as well with the sure entry. How about these two just running almost in formation finish and doing a fantastic job for Brad Jones Racing, flashing the headlights. Madison Down, back-to-back race wins. Nice job And he picks up another win at Phillip Island, which is where his first race win came back in 2019. Brad Jones Racing leading this championship. And Madison Down closing the championship picture to his teammate, Andrew Gilliam. He was third in the sprint race at Charlotte. He's third again here today, so he's found some form. But it's guys like Jared Philsell, fifth, Dane Warren, sixth, just. How close was that? 15 thousandths of a second between him and Cooper Webster. Susan Harlow recovered to 12.
He did a great job. He was still involved with a few battles, making his way back through the field. Job Stewart be looking to change his underwear after that moment of turn 2. He finished that one in 13th.
Well, that was good stuff. And Madison Down doing a very nice job. Sure live chat time with our race winner, Brad Jones Racing. Last week, you had to pass about 30 cars to get the job done. Madison, tonight, it was a completely different story. Nice work.
Yeah, absolutely. Put the thing on pole, which was unreal. The team at Brad Jones Racing and Brock behind the scenes did a great job with the setup. And a big shout out to the team at Brad Jones Racing, actually, for still jumping on and assisting us. They've got a lot going on in the real world supercars at the moment. So a big shout out to the whole team back there. They're working hard.
Madison, we spent that whole race wondering if you're going to pull over for your teammate and play the rear gunner. But it turns out that maybe you're in this championship fight yourself.
Exactly. We did discuss nothing silly. So, yeah, thankfully come away with a 1-2. But, yeah, we're right in the fight. So, yeah, just trying to maximise points at this stage. Still half the season to go when we started tonight. So, a lot to play for yet. But, yeah, great race. And Phillip Island's always a great track. The racing here is so much fun.
2 from 2 now, Madison. Do you feel like that race win last week, however unexpected it was, maybe just helped you kick on a little bit tonight?
Big confidence boost for sure, especially leading into a track where I've had success in the past. So, yeah, great to keep that ball rolling and get another race win. And it's actually my mum's birthday today as well. So great to get a win. Missed the family dinner, but yeah, at least we made it worth it on track.
Well done, mate, and a big happy birthday. Congratulations to Madison Down, doing a brilliant job tonight, and good luck to him next week as well with the Bathurst Enduro not too far away. Well, that's how you're meant to do it. We're about to find out how you're not meant to do it. The All-Stars are coming up next, so stick with us here. Cash Converters E-Series round number 4. Our friends at Shannon's are giving motoring enthusiasts the chance to win the American Dream Team, a 1967 Ford Mustang Coupe in dark Highland green with a V8 engine, and the all-new 2022 Scout Rogue Indian motorcycle. The prize also includes up to 12 months Shannon's comprehensive car and bike insurance and Shannon's roadside assist, plus $5,000 cash if you're an eligible Shannon's Club member. That's up to $101,000 in prizes.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Repco, driven by passion for 100 years.
A lot of history hidden in this place. Bit of elbow grease, splash of racing. Eleanor, and 100 years later you've got this. A place driven by passion. Some people call us car nuts, rev heads. Reckon we've got 10W30 running through our veins. But the truth is, everyone at Repco has an unexplainable bond with motoring. The journey's been a ride, from navigating open roads to wrangling uncharted tracks. For 100 years, we've been driven by passion. What happens in the future? Well, you'll have to wait and see.
Unreal value just got better at Pizza Hut. Pick up our new range from just $3. Enjoy delicious new sides like flame-grilled meatballs. Hey, Dougie, mate, this is a pickup ad.
From $3. That's unreal.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Ah, looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Repco, driven by passion for 100 years.
Night number 4 for the Cash Converters Supercars E-Series. Great to have your company tonight, wherever you're watching from around Australia, around the world. We're getting set for the All-Stars. They're about to take centre stage at the Island, but a good chance to chat to some of the stars of the sport and see how they're faring tonight. And it's really cool to have Andre Heimgartner back. We missed him last week for a Shore Live chat. Andre, welcome back, buddy. You did a pretty good job in SwiftX qualifying earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. But the last lap was up a little bit, but it always is until you stuff it up, especially in this game. So, yeah, pretty happy. Cars pretty good. Obviously, the other guys in the Pro Series did an amazing job, and yeah, they've given us good setups and good advice, which helps obviously.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it, what they're doing? How important is this to Brad Jones Racing? Because we've seen Brad himself take a pretty heavy role in managing all this, and would love to see them bring home a championship.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. I think, obviously, like all things at Brad Jones Racing, take everything pretty seriously, and the e-racing series or e-series is no different. So it's been pretty cool to see our engineering group working with the sim racers, and for myself, just see these sim racers. They can practice every single day for as much as they want. So they end up coming up with some pretty funky little tips and tricks that work in the game, but some of them, perhaps might go over to the real world. So it's been pretty interesting, the whole experience.
Andre, do you feel like now you're driving better in the E-Series than you were in week 1? Do you feel like you, as a driver, you always look to improve? Do you feel like you've found some of those tricks and they're working for you?
I think any talent I had got knocked out of my brain last week in the crash, but I don't know. I think it's tricky because in the game, it's very much like you go to different tracks and different people have different strengths. So I think I was probably a bit stronger at Winton than I was here. I was, basically the same time as Brody in qualifying, and then here we're obviously a couple of tenths off. So yeah, you'd like to think that you get better as time goes on, but this game, it's very, very much you just need to invest the time, invest the years. But I'm definitely a lot better from the first D-Series we did 2 or 3 years ago.
Andre, you brought up obviously what happened at the Bend. It's thankfully in your review mirror now as you look forward to Sandown, but how are you physically, and are you still feeling any of the ailments from that one?
Mainly all good now, so I'll be 100% by the time Sandown comes, but yeah, been struggling with whiplash and a few other things, and even sitting here now, I got a massive headache and I've smashed a whole lot of Nurofen, so hopefully in the race we're able to stay concentrated, but overall doing pretty well, and yeah, shouldn't be any hindrance come Sandown.
I'm seeing double as well, mate, because you've got your reflection right next to you. Is that your co-driver tonight, is it?
Yeah, well, he's a good-looking bloke, isn't he?
Talks back a lot too.
Hey, Andre, you ever heard of Ruben Goodall?
No.
He's starting in front of you tonight. There you go. Because we did the same thing tonight.
I asked who he was. Apparently he does 86s and stuff, so good on him. He does. Outdid me, obviously. So
I'm looking forward to watching you race up against him. Really cool opportunity for you, young bloke. Thank you, Andre. Good on you, buddy. Thanks for the chat.
All right, cheers.
We'll keep it moving on to Jimmy Golding as well, who's the new kid at the block at Premier Hire Racing. He's in the Subway colours, and it's been a busy week for him. We'll touch on that soon, but E-Series first. James, how have you been faring so far this year, and how's it looking tonight at the Island for you?
Yeah, I only just got back home, the Savo, so pretty average qualifying from me. Didn't do any laps practicing, so you can sort of see it makes a fair difference on this sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It's good to be out here and jumping in and having a bit of a go. So we'll see if we can pluck a few off.
Jimmy, it certainly seems like you've settled back into race car driver life because you've already wheeled out excuses. We haven't done a lap of racing yet. So just preloading the excuses ahead of tonight, is that right?
Mate, I got plenty loaded up if you want some more. I got a few written that I've learned from you as well.
Good boy, as long as you learnt something.
Back in the real world, you just mentioned you got home only just recently. How did the test day go for you guys up at Queensland Raceway?
Yeah, really good. Finally be able to throw some things at the car and learn a bit more about how it reacts with changes and all that sort of jazz. So good to be able to just fire a whole heap of tests through the car and understand a bit more of what's going on, and we can carry that into Sandown. So yeah, really looking forward to getting there. I've had some pretty good runs there. One with Garth. We had a pretty good run coming fourth, not quite on the podium, but pretty good day there. So yeah, can't wait to get there. Obviously, a track I've gone good at and just really enjoy racing there. So can't wait to get to that one. And obviously with the testing too, it's good to have that sort of information to behind you, and you can utilise that come race day.
And also big news as well with the Sandown event coming up that you have your co-driver locked in. Pretty cool to have Dylan O'Keefe and old Gary Rogers Motorsport exploit himself lining up alongside you for the big race. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty cool to have Dylan. It's always good to be able to race with a mate. So can't wait to get up there, see how we go there. He got a few laps in yesterday as well. So getting his eye in and yeah, we both just can't wait to get there. Obviously Bathurst is the one that everyone waits around for the great race. But yeah, we're all sorted. Just doing all the little details with seats and all that sort of stuff and getting comfortable, and we'll worry about going fast on the day. There you go. Thank you very much, James Golding, who says men can't multitask, doing practice laps and talking to us at the same time.
I'm looking at the timing screen. He's not multitasking too well. He's 15th right now.
Good luck for the race.
Out and in laps, Garth.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Good luck, buddy. We'll let him focus, like watching a young Dick Johnson doing his craft, talking and driving at the same time. All right, we're not too far away from getting into it, but I want to quickly tell you about this awesome BP Ultimate Weekend. It's the Gold Coast Boost Mobile Gold Coast 500 coming up in October, and this is a great opportunity for you to win 3 VIP tickets to the big dance, 3 nights of accommodation as well, return economy airline flights for 2 hot laps in the BP Ultimate safety car as well. And all you got to do is simply scan the QR code on screen, if that pops up, and you will be able to, there it goes, compete in the entry form and fill it in for your chance to win the Gold Coast's 500 thanks to Boost Mobile and BP Ultimate. It's not too far away. October. Cannot wait to get back to the Gold Coast. Feels like it's been a lifetime since we've been there. But it's Phillip Island that's up next and the All-Stars. Not too far away, so stick around.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Shure. Sound extraordinary on and off the track.
7 Supercars coverage is brought to you by BP Ultimate. Imagine being trackside on the Gold Coast watching the Supercars roar. Just snap the QR code to enter and you could win the ultimate Supercars experience. You and a friend could be flown to the Gold Coast 500 to enjoy all the action, including accommodation and VIP treatment. BP Rewards members also get 10 bonus entries. So sign up for your best chance to win the ultimate Supercars experience.
Andre Heimgartner on screen here in the R&J Batteries Brad Jones Racing entry.
Hold on, where's the pit crew? What's he stumbled upon here? Ah, looks like the boys are having a bit of fun with their new toy. Get a gaming super bargain at Cash Converters. Click and collect or shop online with a 90-day warranty on most items. Cash Converters, life made possible.
7 Supercars coverage is brought to you by BP Ultimate. Imagine being trackside on the Gold Coast watching the Supercars roar. Just snap the QR code to enter and you could win the ultimate Supercars experience. You and a friend could be flown to the Gold Coast 500 to enjoy all the action, including accommodation and VIP treatment. BP Rewards members also get 10 bonus entries. So sign up for your best chance to win the ultimate Supercars experience.
The Cash Converters Supercars E-Series is proudly brought to you by Pioneer DJ. Join the revolution.
Yeah, it really is that close to the ocean. It's right there, right on the very edge down in Phillip Island, an amazing part of the world. Small little island southeast of Melbourne, about 90 minutes out of Melbourne, maybe 2 hours with a bit of traffic, Garth. No traffic in the virtual world for the iRacing stars that are about to take to centre stage. It's the All-Stars in the championship picture here, Garth. It is one-way traffic. It's all about one man, Brody Kostecki. Have a go at that, 60 points. Come on.
Brody Kostecki show, isn't it? Even with not a strong result on the oval at Michigan last week, but he has been the form, man. Like his speed that he showed at the Sandown round, where he was quicker than the pros, that was seriously impressive to watch. And he's done it again tonight in qualifying. He put it on pole by near on 0.3 of a second over Ruben Goodall, who's having his first run in the championship.
He's the man who's second in points, Aaron Borg. He's out of Borg license plates and ready to go tonight. He's got the headset on, and he'll be starting this one in the Bryce Fullwood colours. So we check him out on the truck assist starting grid. And the big news here, Brody Kostecki on pole once again. Yeah, we knew that. Ruben Goodall, the school kid out of Queensland. He's going to be starting.
Is he starting the race, or is it after his bedtime?
It's after his bedtime. He's going to have to get one of the older kids to do it. Andre Heimgartner and Justin Ruggiero on that second row. Cool to have Andre back here tonight. Brad Vaughan and Aaron Borg both doing a really nice job in this championship. They are inside the front. 3 rows tonight. It's Jake Kostecki and Matt McLean, who's had one of his better qualifying performances in the Sure colours. Looking forward to seeing him back in Super 2 trim. James Golding had a test day that he was just telling us about, so not too many practice laps. He's starting alongside Jordan Boys. T-Max, Thomas Maxwell in the Panright colours alongside Cameron Crick. He's our delivery boy for Pizza Hut tonight out of row number 6. The Juice won last week in the All-Stars and is going to be starting this one out of 13th alongside Jackson Walls. Zane Goddard out of 15th. We had him in for the first time last week. He's got Clay Richards for company. He's sitting in a bathtub inside a kitchen tonight. Matt Charter, he'll be starting this one out of 17th, joining us for the first time. And he is at the back of the grid. Check it out. Someone ordered Hawaiian pizza or what?
Tonight for Cameron Crick.
The answer is yes, he does like pineapple on pizza.
I want to see what shirt he wears when it's Meat Lovers Night.
You can leave that one. All right, let's do it. Brody Kostecki, can he continue on his merry way in the All-Stars? Can Ruben Goodall spoil the party? That's the big story tonight. As Andre Heimgartner gets a move in out of row number 2, Goodall covers him off. Perfect start for Kostecki, looking to extend that championship lead. With Ruggiero on the outside of the Cash Converters car, that is a commanding start for the Boost Mobile driver at the front of the field, but the race is on for third.
Ruggiero hung on the outside at 1, which gave him the inside line for turn 2, and he converts that move. Heimgartner a little bit tail happy coming off turn 2. And Brad Vaughan in the Cool Drive Mustang, he's got interested at the inside line at turn 3 as they run down to Honda for the first time.
Good stuff. Watch for the dramas down here as everybody sorts it out. Ruggiero's gone in front of Vaughan and Borg. Second in the championship. Cameron Crick with the Hawaiian shirt cuts out a slice of that crash at turn 4. And Jake Kostecki, who wanted nothing to do with it, got caught up as well. That took about 5 or 6 good cars out of the race as Goodall escapes all the dramas and puts the pressure on the race leader.
Andre Heimgartner, I think he'll have a little case to answer to with that contact with Justin Rougier back at turn 4. So we'll wait for race control to look into that one. We'll get Jonathan Simon to look at that for us. But Heimgartner currently finds himself in 3rd place. But have a look at Ruben Goodall. He is giving it to Brody Kostecki. We expected Kostecki just to ride off into the sunset in this one. But Goodall has got different ideas, that is for sure. And he is doing an awesome job.
How good is that? He looks a lot like Todd Hazelwood. He's even from South Australia as well, which is very impressive. The Adelaide boy doing a nice job as he has a peek down the inside. He is 18 years of age, so he is allowed to stay up a little bit later. He's done a lot of go-kart racing and won in quite a bit of his racing around the country, and he's putting the pressure on Kostecki.
More speed than Kostecki right now.
He's looking pretty good.
I wonder whether Kostecki's just keeping the tyre under the car right now, not extending the gap. Almost a little bit defensive for Kostecki into turn 4 there. That's allowed Heimgartner to close up. So after that drama's right here, 1 lap earlier, Andre Heimgartner's closed that gap.
He's giving him a hurry up through Siberia.
I think Kostecki's driving to save the tyre right now.
He's doing a Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah,
He's backing everybody up.
backing him up.
Oh, he might get unloaded here.
You don't back him up too much into the front bumper of Ruben Goodall.
Come on, Ruben. We're not supposed to pick winners here, but I feel like I'm backing him home. Is there a chance here? Brody's defensive enough.
Saw that one coming. Did Brody?
Smart spot. Another little shove down the bottom at MG. Get the feeling that Brody's almost toying with him at the moment. All right, Ruben, let's see what you're made of. He's hazing the new kid. It's good to watch.
I've seen the new kid just smoking on by, though.
Or completely unloading him at the hay shed. That's one way to introduce yourself to Brody Kostecki. Welcome, Ruben Goodall. This is good stuff. He has a little peek down at turn 1. Brody's wise to that.
Looks to me, while we were looking at the battle for the lead, Heimgartner's come to pit lane, so he's pitted very early. Saw Dane Warren do that in the Pro Series race earlier tonight. Didn't really work for him. Whether there was damage to Heimgartner's car, or we're hearing from race control that that is an actual drive-through penalty. So not a time penalty at the pit stop, an actual drive-through penalty for Andre Heimgartner. That's a massive, massive drama for him.
Yep, 7th in the championship. And let's see, it was into the back of the 88 of Rougier. And unfortunately, it took out 2nd in the championship and a fellow Brad Jones racing driver in the process.
Slam dunk that one, wasn't it? Yep. When you see that view from above. Heimgartner not really in there, gets it up on the curb to try and avoid the contact, but unfortunately spins Justin Rougier around. Aaron Ball, Cameron Crick, Thomas Maxwell takes avoiding action. I think Clay Richards was involved in it. So
Heimgartner has served his drive-through looking at this, which is why he's dropped down to 14th. I always wonder what these cars look like with no rear wings. They wouldn't handle quite that well for Brad Vaughan. That thing's stuck down nicely. So gets the move made on Clay Richards in car 24. What's the latest, Jonathan?
So just reminding everybody at home who's watching, of course, we had a lot of incidents. We don't need to remind you about that. So you might see some pit stops early on. That would be to repair damage. And remember, every driver has what's called a cash converter's instant cash repair. It's iRacing's fast repair. They come into the pit lane, click the fingers, bang, fresh Mustang or fresh Commodore straight back out there on the racetrack. In terms of pit stop rules, as we covered before, the drivers must pit in the opening 8 laps, and then we will have that mandatory BP Ultimate Safety Car intervention to bunch up the field for a hectic finish.
Alrighty, that's what we like about it. So strategy-wise, we saw quite a bit of that play out in that last race. Because that safety car period comes out somewhere in between laps 9 and 11, it puts them all relatively in the same box. But there is a chance for, if you're aggressive enough, a bit of an undercut before that restart procedure starts. So we check out Jackson Walls to the inside of Jordan Boys. Nicely done.
Done. Nice job. Yeah, so there's no point doing the Dane Warren strategy in this race because of that compulsory BP Ultimate Safety Car that fall, like you said, at some point between 9 and 11. So you don't want to pit on lap 1 because you know that there's going to be a safety car to bunch the field up. So do you come on lap 7 effectively and undercut those that will come on lap 8 to get yourself that track position? Then the safety car will come, cool the tyre, and effectively you've only got a 1 lap differential in the tyre. So currently on lap 5, so we'll keep an eye on pit lane over the next 2 or 3 laps as we get closer to that BP Ultimate safety car coming.
There's Jordan Boys.
He's come to the lane.
Yep, the Image Racing crew unseen in pit lane.
But that fast, you didn't even see them.
That's right.
Like magic pixies.
And ta-da, the car is ready and back out there on the track, and just in time for the SwiftX car of Matt Charter, who is on approach behind him. And Jordan Boys back out on track in the Repco 100 colours. Did a nice job running as a wild card as we go back to the fight. Jake Kostecki.
The low downforce Mustangs at the front of this pack.
It's a nice move. Zach Best is menacing both a bonnet and a rear wing and a boot to boot. He's had himself a yard sale on that car.
Lots of memorabilia going off that BP Ultimate Mustang.
There is a fan who's built a Tickford race car entirely out of broken bits.
There's a few of those getting around, those cars.
That's starting to look a little bit like that car at the moment, right now. It's looking a little average. Oh, no, he's lost it. Surely he got into the car ahead of him too. He maybe just got that one caught in time. There's the 1 or 2 off in the background.
It was just Zach on his own in the air. Yeah, Brad Vaughan's still going.
Survived it.
Clay Richards had enough of this. He's out of there.
Now, his proximity to the fridge is quite helpful because in the pit stop procedure, he might be able to get out and get a quick drink. That's important when you're racing. Back to the leaders. Ruben's on a charge here, back onto the back of the boost car. Just wonder if he has got the genuine speed on Brody tonight, or is Brody potentially trying to save the tyre life?
Well, we're starting to get close to that pit stop window, so this would be the time.
Or just get it done.
Does he get it stopped and turned? Kostecki goes the over and under.
Oh,
contact.
They trip over each other.
And that's the concern for Brody Kostecki.
James Golding comes firing right into it.
Going?
He's going to the Bass Strait, apparently. Brody Kostecki, you can see the funny side of that. I'm not sure James Golding does. He saw his name in lights for a split second and went
drove to the lights there.
Goodall,
he had a good job. He sent it at turn 4, didn't get it done.
I think that's
Kostecki over and under them, and then James Golding thought he'd grab 4th gear on the run to Siberia, where it's the 2nd gear corner.
That's Lorenzo land out there. I'm pretty sure Jorge Lorenzo claimed that, the gravel at Siberia. Fight is picking up. They're running out of laps to pit, Jonathan.
Well, as Garth said, you've got to pit this type round if you're Ruben Goodall, right? Just to get the undercut and then get track position for the restart. There could be a pass into turn 1. I don't think he needs to pass him, though. He doesn't need to, Ruben Goodall. He just needs to make the pit stop and the undercut. By the way, when Jimmy Golding crashed, my ears blew up, and all I heard on the radio was Brody Kostecki yell, "Jimmy!" And he was so sad he was out of the race.
Didn't look that sad from the shot that we took, Jonathan. Brody Kostecki was basically...
Yeah, they were tears of laughter, not tears of sadness.
Tears of sorrow.
Can he send it again?
Look at Goodall.
Brody on the defensive here.
Serious speed here.
Hang it out there. Hang it out there, buddy. Can't quite stick to him. West Aussie versus South Aussie fight. Had very different junior careers. Brody spending his time in America and running the NASCAR circuit. He's just having the time of his life tonight, Brody. He's enjoying every second of this. And Ruben going through the go-kart pathway. Now, he is just having a little bit of a little pinging issue there, which is why he's flashing on and off his screen. Don't worry, he's not disappearing anywhere. Had a pretty handsome karting career before he turned 18. Won the Gold Coast Race of Stars race in 2018. Won that by over 10 seconds, actually, in KA2. Very competitive class.
Big event, that one. So it's a good one to have on the CV, and he does. He comes to the lane. So
there we go, looking for the undercut.
As Jonathan mentioned, this was the lap that he had to do it if he wanted to get that undercut done. I wonder whether Kostecki now drops the hammer. So his last lap was a 30.5. Keep an eye on his sectors, because I imagine he'll pit at the end of this one.
Which did a 29.4 that time by as well. And can he hold on to the race lead, or will the undercut be on here for 18-year-old Ruben Goodall? Now, the other thing here for Ruben is he doesn't want to fall out behind too much traffic on this lap as well. If that happens, any chance of an undercut is gone out the window. Kostecki, McLean, Golding with a recovery at Siberia, Vaughan and Heimgartner, who has been down pit lane but for a drive-through, not the pit stop. Justin Rougier lights up a Bosch fastest lap of the race in the Cash Converters Mustang. Very fast driver, but unfortunately turned around on the opening lap.
Yep. So a recovery drive for Rougier in this one. Brody Kostecki makes his way over Lukey Heights. I expect that this is the lap that he will come to pit lane. And we will find out whether Ruben Goodall has done a good enough job on his pit stop and his out lap to get track position over Brody Kostecki. So Kostecki comes to the lane, will attack the pit entry speed line. You can see the car moving around there. I can tell you that is real when the car does that right there.
Complete with a little pit lane siren and everything going off as Brody comes down pit lane with Matt McLean in behind him. Last lap for the compulsory pit stop to be served. Big shout out to anybody in Melbourne on Sunday when it comes to the Erebus Open Day, which is going to be in Dandenong South at their...
Rick Murphy's going to be in town.
He is. Murph's going to be there.
I might come and get an autograph.
Come say good day, Garth, if you've got nothing on Sunday. Richie Stanaway will be there. Unfortunately, Brody's going to be out for that one. I hear he's got some race commitments happening on the weekend. The rejoin is on with Ruben Goodall is coming down at a real rate of knots, and Brody makes him work for it, but the undercut is there. And Ruben gets to the front of the race. And Brody Kostecki's got one lap fresher tyres to put the pressure on. He's just going to rub him up. He said, okay, you gave me a couple of taps, you can have it back.
Here you go,
the
Junior.
shoe is on the other foot.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah. Oh, aggressive at turn 4. Kostecki wants the lead back. Bye-bye undercut. And he gets the job done nicely. Looks to just have something up his sleeve tonight. But Ruben's keeping him honest.
Yeah. Love that Goodall is making him work for it, making him hustle. Had to make him make the pass, got the track position, did everything right. I mean, Brody Kostecki, we know his speed in this E-Series has been exceptional. But Goodall has turned up tonight, and he's been probably the only one so far this year that's given him a serious run for his money so far.
Fight for third. As Rougier gets back to it. Has Rougier actually climbed that far back into this race? It's been turned around.
Just trying to work that out.
He has. He's had his pit stop.
Done his pit stop.
Jordan
Boys was an early stopper, so that's why we see Jordan Boys up there as well.
Safety car is going to hurt him badly. It's going to put a lot of fast cars on his bumper.
Track position though.
True. Get the feeling this is going to be an exciting restart tonight. The fight is on again at the lead. 1 lap tyre difference between these two inside the last few laps tonight. As he puts the pressure on at the exit of the Southern Loop. Turn 4, a good passing opportunity. Has he got the momentum to make it stick? Kostecki puts it right down the middle of Broadway.
And then holds it tight there, smart driving. Goodall was looking for the over and under coming off turn 4, but Kostecki slowed it up in the mid-corner. Here we are, turn 4 again.
4.
Couple wide here.
What's going to happen here as Golding runs it slightly wide? Matt McLean gets the power down nicely, picks up 1. And that's Aaron Ball going back a spot. Jake Kostecki in this fight in the tradie colours. Every time I see that car, I just see the tradie ads. Him in a towel.
You can't unsee them. That's the problem with those tradie ads.
Close my eyes and it's there. Clever marketing, I guess.
Clever marketing. It's more of Jake Kostecki that I ever want to see.
When are we going to get that safety car that'll bunch the field up here? Although the field is relatively bunched up right now behind Golding. He sits 6th. As we now are right on cue.
Chad, you know where the button is to turn the safety car
It's actually
on.
under the desk, Garth. I showed you where it was. If ever you need to push the button. It looks fast going slow, this thing. The BP Ultimate GTE, a lovely Ford. Not quite the Mustang that we get for real in our Repco Supercars Championship. And I wonder if we're going to be seeing that at Sandown next week at any point. 3 races coming our way in the Repco Supercars Championship. Always exciting.
Well, now that we know that you know where the button is to turn the safety car on, Chad, I'll tell you what lap we want to turn it on.
Exactly. Perfect. How are you going to go in the co-driver session on Friday, Garth? Have you got a goal that you want to try and achieve?
My goal is to be better than I was in the last co-driver session.
So 21st?
Last time, that was 21st, Chad. So just modest goals ahead for next week.
Right, baby steps.
Baby steps.
Jonathan, you're going to be keeping a close eye on Garth's co-driver session next Friday.
I, of course, will. Sandown. I heard it's pretty terrible weather in Melbourne, as usual. Not that I was expecting 31 degrees heat or anything like that, especially not at Sandown. There won't be any Cape Barren geese. I can't even say that, let alone them being at Sandown. So some updates for you during the safety car period. I have to go to the notepad again because there's a lot. There's a lot to cover. Zach Best officially out of the race. He stepped out of the car. He won't be rejoining. There was an issue for Thomas Maxwell. He's in the Grove Racing, Penrite Racing Mustang. So I think he missed his pit box and then for some reason just stood out and parked the car at the exit of pit lane for like a full lap and then went back out. So I'm not sure what happened there. And a wild Shane Van Gisbergen has appeared. And I can say he is watching this session. I couldn't get to the answer. I couldn't get to the top of who's spotting for Jake Kostecki. Not going to make assumptions. We saw what happened with Piastri last week. Let's not make rumors and assumptions. But Gizzy's watching the session.
All right. Keeping an eye on things. Making notes on Ruben Goodall. He's been the standout performer of the night. Ruben Goodall, here he is, second place. There he goes.
He is.
Needs to work on the old internet connection.
He does. Ask his mum if he can get faster internet.
Yes, g'day Brody. You are live coast to coast right now. And the field is stacked up. Are we going to get a restart this time by? It's looking that way, potentially. Has Ruben Goodall got an answer? And watch out for the chaos in the mid-pack. There'll be just 4 and a bit to go on this one. We get back to the restart. Is it going to be Brody Kostecki? Well, the teenager in tow, Ruben Goodall. Green flag flies at the island. And Justin Rougier is back in this fight, but potentially on older tyres as he looks for the inside. Goodall with a slower restart. Doesn't quite get the job done. Run off in a massive way in the back. Who is that? That's going to end up in the drink down there as Boys is sideways through the southern loop. I think it was Aaron Borg. And he is absolutely out of here. That's out of the... Here he comes. He's out of the ballpark. He's taking the Cameron McConville shortcut back onto the racing line as the fight for the lead is on. Goodall goes the high side at turn 4. But Brody has the racecraft.
Goodall needs to be careful there, hanging himself up on the outside line with Rougier, who's seriously pulled a rabbit out of the hat here in this race tonight. Having got caught up in that drama at turn 4 on the opening lap, has now fought back and battling for the lead here with Kostecki and Goodall.
Yeah, Rougier out of nowhere tonight, the Cash Converters colours. Pulled a master strategy to get himself back in the fight.
It's interesting to see whether he's got the tyre to hang in there for these last 3 laps. Goodall throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Brody Kostecki right now. Kostecki hasn't been able to get away.
I get it, it's just the E-Series, but for him,
it's a big deal.
This is a big deal. Big deal.
Absolutely big deal. Great opportunity on the big stage, on TV, racing against main game driver. It's pretty cool.
Well, let's just sit back and watch it from Justin Rougier's point of view. The island. Goodall still putting the pressure on the back of Brody Kostecki. He drives in the Toyota Gazoo Racing Australia 86 Series for Cedars Racing. Tonight, Matt Stone Racing, and a chance to go toe-to-toe with one of the best in supercars. And he is making Brody Kostecki work for it tonight, round 4 of the E-Series.
He's doing a smart job as well, Chad, because he's putting pressure on Brody Kostecki, but he has to be so mindful of Justin Rougier behind him. So you can see that lap run down into MG corner. He didn't have the big look on the outside because he knew Rougier was right behind him and would have filled that hole and taken second from him. So it's a tough spot to be in. And I reckon he's learning a whole heap right now. Just how to position the car. That's a good run with the slipstream down the front straight, but Kostecki blocks that one off. But he's positioning the car in the right spot and attacking when he can, but then he's also mindful of whenever Rougier ranges up to the rear bumper of the truck assist Commodore that he can't then just put the car everywhere. He needs to protect. So although he does a fair bit of 86 racing, I think he's learning a lot tonight. Rougier up the inside in turn 3.
He was vulnerable coming out of the southern loop. Rougier picks him off. So the Cash Converters Mustang spoiling the party here for Matt Stone. Nicely done. And the Todd Hazelwood lookalike goes back to third as Kostecki checks up in the middle of Siberia. Lap and a half to go. This one's getting tasty.
I reckon Rougier's a chance here, Chad.
This would be an impressive win from where he was.
Backwards at turn 4 on lap 2.
Have we had a spin and win yet in the E-Series?
Not this season.
We had Max Verstappen pull one off a couple of nights ago in Hungary. And potentially a chance here for something similar. As Rougier was facing the wrong way in the opening lap, getting absolutely slammed by all the cars that were coming past. And now with a chance to fight for the race win. We will start the last lap this time by. Can Goodall get back around Rougier? This is your final lap. Next week we go to Bathurst. The Enduros are back. Co-drivers as Goodall makes a mistake.
That's not good. That will delay his run off turn 2.
That was Ruben Battle at that point.
You did wait a long time to bring that one
Well,
out.
he hasn't done anything bad
play,
yet.
Fair play. Got to the last lap before you use that one up. I think Kostecki's done just enough here. A couple more laps would have been interesting, though, whether Rougier would have had something for Brodie Kostecki. I think Goodall has used everything he had trying to get around Brodie Kostecki. His car looks pretty wild right now, potentially run out of tyre.
Well, Brad Vaughan and Andre Heimgartner also have done a nice job recovering up to inside the top 5 and 6.
Well, Heimgartner did an actual drive-through penalty, so
yeah,
that safety car obviously closed all the gaps up for him. But
Vaughan did half the race without a rear wing. It's a marvellous effort. Here he is. He's got some more damage. Actually, they both do.
There's a bit going on with this lot, isn't there?
Remember me? Chance for payback here. Down at MG, they're putting the pressure on Matt McLean at the moment. That is the fight for 4th. Last corner. He came in with a healthy championship lead. He got pushed all the way by one of the young stars of the sport. But it's Brodie Kostecki, Boost Mobile Erebus back on top. After a tough week last week, they win at the Island.
Oh,
how about this? Maybe. Brad Vaughan pushing all the way there, not quite. Nearly got around the outside of Matt McLean. Ojeda, nice job, a winner last week in the All-Stars, comes home 9th. Jordan Boy's early pit stop faded to 10th. And this guy just too good. Getting the job done tonight. But definitely an interesting one. Yeah, nice job, Justin. That was an awesome recovery. He has done himself proud there. Was backwards on the opening lap. Fights back to finish 2nd tonight. And Brodie Kostecki has done a very good job extending that championship lead. Takes the pressure off he and Jared Filsell next week for Bathurst. Although he's really now the co-driver that needs to help Jared get back to the front of the pro score next week. Justin Rougier, he was probably about 15th at least at the end of that opening lap. So he's done a pretty good job.
He's done an awesome job.
As did Brad Vaughan and Andre Heimgartner. Jake Kostecki also in the tradie car was involved on lap 1. And Zach Best, unfortunately, not his best night. Aaron Borg as well, with that monster off on the restart.
He's still catching the car. I think he might be at Hobart now.
I think it landed on the Spirit of Tasmania, I think. Bosch race highlights. A fun night in the E-Series. Round 4, Phillip Island. And Brodie Kostecki getting a nice jump. But it was Ruben Goodall, who was a bit of a wild card tonight, just 18 years of age, drives for Cedars Racing in the Toyota 86 Series. Driving for Matt Stone tonight. Contentious this one. Heimgartner into the back of Rougier. Incredibly, that Cash Converters car finished 3rd.
And it didn't have a mark on it at the end of the race either,
actually
Chad.
2nd, I should say.
There was a bit going on here. Zach Best and Brad Vaughan.
3 wide.
Clay Richards, 3 wide at turn 1, never ends well.
That's a good save, actually. from the Cool Drive car. Incredibly, he finished 5th. It was one of those nights. A bit of a strange one tonight in the E-Series, but there was fights up and down this pack. Broken cars everywhere. Zach Best, unfortunately, didn't make it to the finish line, missing all those bits off his car. Clay Richards in the Shannon's colours was desperately trying to stay out of the drama as Zach Best lost it down at MG. And I think he just about had enough at that point.
Yeah, I think Zach Best parked it up after that one.
Fight for the lead was on, and the truck assist car got through for a tiny moment.
Led for about 20 metres, a little bit of contact coming off turn 4 for that one, but Brodie Kostecki, prior to the safety car, was the last car to stop. And Goodall, who pitted a lap early, actually got the undercut. It was pretty tight on the exit, on the rejoin. Brodie made him work for it, but Goodall got up the inside for the run to turn 1. And then on the outlap, Kostecki on the fresher tyre, straight back up the inside into turn 4. Got it stopped nicely, didn't overrun the braking area. Goodall gave him room too, so good racing.
Restart time, and what happened to Aaron Borg?
He got Jake Kostecki. And Aaron Borg then set sail for Tasmania.
That's one way to
We get tell in the real driver's briefing, you're not allowed to do that.
It's totally
fine. All
fine.
Chad's camera cables are down there, and you break them.
No issues in iRacing though, taking a shortcut. I'd love to know what the slowdown is, taking turns 1 to 3 in iRacing. That was Jackson Walls having a slip, running in the Scott Pye colours. Justin Rugia, what a recovery from the back of the field to second. But it's Brodie Kostecki picking up another race win. And the Boost Mobile colours first place tonight. And well done to the crew at Boost Mobile Erebus. Pick up another win and a chance for a little bit of a celebratory slide. Can he keep it going? That is very difficult to do in the real world or in iRacing. I wouldn't know what it's like to try that in the real world, but I've attempted that in iRacing and I wasn't quite that good at it. Well done to Brodie Kostecki. He's our championship leader with 2 rounds to play. Let's check in with him for a short live chat to see how he's feeling off the back of a 3rd race win for the season. Hey, Broads, good way to put what happened to you last week on the ovals behind you and get another win in the back pocket.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good race then with Ruben. It was nice and clean and tidy as well. So yeah, just got the jump on the start there and was able to use that clean air. So no, it was a good race up the front with Justin and Ruben at the end there.
So you are leading the championship at the moment. Jake Burton's leading the championship for the pros. And this is quite interesting because you two actually go back quite a long way. So there's a side-by-side of what you two might look like today. But you've known each other for a very long time, all the way back to the Tiger Kart Club days, when you two were just mucking around on sims and winning trophies on the weekend in the karts. How cool is that? And I love that it still continues today on iRacing all these years later. It'd be pretty cool, Brodie, to pick up another trophy alongside Jake Burton this year, even though he's technically fighting alongside your teammate, Jared Philsell.
Yeah, all those days are over now, Chad. So, we go to Bathurst next week, and hopefully Jake won't be leading too much longer.
Hey, we've got Sandown coming up. I know it's one of your favourite tracks, if not your favourite track on the tour. You're looking forward to that?
Yeah, definitely. Sandown's my favourite track. So yeah, it's great to be going back there again. And we had a lot better round at Tailem Bend than what we've had the last few weeks. So definitely excited, and hopefully we can roll on the momentum a little bit and see how we go there. Pretty excited.
Nice job. Thanks for putting Ruben Goodall through his paces tonight, mate. That was exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's a bit scary with the internet there. He might need to jump on the Boost Mobile network to sort that out.
Nice done. Well plugged. All right, we'll see him at Sandown in about 8 sleeps time. Looking forward to being back at Sandown for what's going to be a huge weekend of racing. But we want to hear from the fans. Who is your Repco top performer? There's a $1,500 Visa gift card up for grabs at the end of the season. So we need to hear from you. Who was it tonight? Was it the Brad Jones Racing teammates earlier in the night with that awesome 1-2 finish? Or was it some of the later action that we saw? It's been an awesome night. Garth, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chad.
Looking forward to getting back for some Enduros. I got my co-driver alongside me, but it's the drivers of Pro and All-Stars will be teaming up next week when we go back to Bathurst. So thanks for your company for round 4. We'll see you for round 5. Catch you next week. Nighty-night.